Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Project Ozone. So I'm sure you can tell right now, I actually went ahead and made the rest of the draconic armor. It actually wasn't too bad once we got basically the nether stars that we needed and stuff, and the awakened draconium and all that good stuff. If we take a look in here, we currently have 963 nether stars and 235 nether star essence. Right now, I've just been kind of manually crafting these. I don't have the system, I don't have it really automated at the moment. You'll notice we actually get these things in like super fast. So, I haven't automated the production of the actual nether star. I will do that. It's no big deal to do that, of course. I've honestly spent the majority of the time since last episode working on our new base on Sarris, which of course is going to be our farming planet. As well as automating a lot of draconium, killing dragons, all that good stuff. So I actually have one farm plot done now, and I'll be honest, doing it manually it took a fairly good while. Okay, now over here, all of our neutron collectors are done. We have a full stack set up here of neutron collectors, and so right now we're up to 119 neutronium ingots. We actually, I think, had more last episode, but I used a bit of them making this armor. So. Before we hop over to Sarris, I'll show you what I've done, but we do have a quest here completed under Lambda, and it is the Dragon Armor quest. This is all done, so we'll go ahead and snag our reward bag for that. Greater bag. And we got 3 lily pads of fertility. Okay. Go ahead and throw that back in there, and I am going to go dump my XP. I almost forgot about doing that. 185 levels isn't really all that much when you have like 1200, but still figure we might as well dump it off. But basically, our dire crafting table, I went ahead and moved it over to here as well. So that way it's just right next to the AE system. And since we're not getting all that super lag, I went ahead and moved it. And since everything was done crafting. So, alright. So let's head on over to Sarris. And actually, I'm not for sure why zinc is still displaying 108,000. It's running. Oh, that's probably why. It's making zinc from extra planets now. Okay. I had looked into it and I was like, well, this is still running, so I'm just going to leave it alone. I looked into it a little bit back and I was like, it's still working, so I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, this is what I'm working on Sarris. And my idea is for this, well, this bottom floor, I think altogether it's probably going to be probably 5 floors tall. Okay, and each floor is like 4 high, and then we've got a 5 block division. And the reason I'm doing 5 blocks is I need, since we have to have awakened draconium below the blocks, this block here is going to be solid, like a bottom to the structure. This block is going to have our sub block, which will be the awakened draconium, and this block is going to have, in this case I'm using coal because it kind of matches the floor a bit better. So this level is going to have the coal and then the main floor that you walk on. Okay, and these bottom 2, like this one's going to have the top of this area, and then this floor is actually going to be nothing except for like some pillars, because I want to make it look like basically all 5 of the floors are going to be like circular structures that have been stacked on top of each other and are held together through pillars. And then what I'll probably do is have the pillars kind of come up. I imagine probably right here will be a pillar, and it'll basically go all the way up through the base, and it's going to look like, it's almost like poles stuck through, holding these like 5 structures together. It's kind of my idea. You'll see as I get it done. I actually used the builder for this from Buildcraft. It's the enhanced building guide right here. Fairly cheap to make, and you can basically plan out structures, any kind of like cylinders, spheres. I know I've covered it many times in the past, like went over it. Actually, we'll just grab it out of here and I'll show you. And then I'm going to need a lever. So basically what we can do is we can set this builder down and then just give it a redstone signal. And it's going to make a shape for you. Right now, what did I have this set on? Oh, it's like a strange cylinder. I was playing around with it, figuring out kind of how I want to do. This isn't the actual way I decided, but I was playing around trying to figure out how I want to do the biodomes that connect to this. But basically, you can click these little arrows here and adjust the size and everything of this. Basically, the arrows and like the plus and the minus on the sides adjust the width. So if I do this this side comes out by 1, and then if I subtract it by 1, it comes in by 1. And then the same over here, and that of course does that direction. And then here, these do that direction, these do that direction. Top and bottom on each side's all the same. It's going to increase vertical height downwards for the bottom section, or bring it up. For example, if I did this, you can see it brought the structure up above, up to center point, which would be this point right here. And then the top, of course, does the top section. And then right here, this changes your, this rotates the structure, these arrows do. And then this changes your setting. So right now it's on cylinder. If we change it, now it's a sphere. And you can see it makes a perfect, well, it makes a sphere based on your size. This makes kind of like a squished sphere, but you've got sphere, planes, axis, octagon, hexagon, pentagon, triangle, dome, full cuboid, and then back to cylinder. So basically just how that works. And then if you want to, what you can do is, let's get, say, a piece of cobble. And let me go ahead and drop this down. And what I can do is I can actually take whatever building material that I want to use and just right-click this, and you'll see it place cobble. And so, for example, if I wanted to build this out of cobble, I can just keep hitting right-click, or hold right-click, and it's going to build out the structure for me. So, basically that's how that works. Very, very simple and very, very useful. I use it pretty much any time. If it's in a pack, I use it if I'm building any kind of structure like this. And then I can just go through, like I built this out of stained glass, and then I can just go through and cut out the parts that I'm not actually going to use, like what I've done here. Basically, I went through and I cut out the layer here, and then I used vein mine to get all the stuff in the middle. So, very, very simple. That is that. Now, the plan that I'm planning for this is, like I said, this is going to be like 5 floors high, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to have it connect, like these are going to be walkways. These bottom ones will probably just be entrances into the structure. But then the upper sections, the upper 5 floors, are going to connect to almost like little biodomes that are each going to have farming setups. And basically this is the farming that's in the overworld, right? I'm going to pull out the farmers and a copy of the seeds, just using the clippers to get seed clippings. I'll probably leave the actual plants and the buildings in the overworld, but I'll go ahead and grab copies of those plants with the clippers, bring them back over here, and then set up the farms within those connected biodomes. Now, this central structure is probably going to be nothing but nether essence, nether star seeds. And then there'll be one additional like large farm setup that's going to do the capacitors. The other farms for things like draconium and stuff like that, we're probably going to leave those, kind of small. I don't need massive farming of all the Pam's Harvest Craft and all the, all the different stuff. The things that we're going to use singularities for, like iron and redstone and stuff, I'll probably do larger farms of those things. But the biggest farms are going to be capacitors and nether essence. And the reason I'm doing a lot of nether essence, because, right now we're producing, if you take a look, just since we started, we've gotten almost 500 nether star essence just since then. This farm, one of these, produces a ton of nether star essence. Like a ton. Like, we don't need to worry about nether stars. Aside from the singularity ones, the compressed nether. But it produces an absolute ton of nether star essence. But I'm probably going to use nether stars for our EMC stuff, for Project E. And so I want basically 5 floors with 4 farms each. Now these are basically these are 15 long, 15 wide. But of course they get smaller right along the edges there, so it's not a full 15 by 15, but it fits the cylinder and I do quite like it. And then what I'll do is I'll kind of glass this in as well. So I think it'll be plenty of nether stars, I think, for what we're going to need it for. As for right now, almost 1,000 nether stars. I guess I could get 1,000. All right, 1,000 nether stars is 147 million EMC. So I mean that's a lot. That's a lot of EMC, right? And once this is done, 1,000 nether stars, it's going to be like, because I mean I still haven't even added sprinklers and all that stuff. We'll probably even use like an imaginary time block or two, depending on, FPS lag's not a big issue because this dimension is all for farming. I can just leave this dimension. FPS is fine. The only thing we have to be aware of is the TPS lag. If there's any TPS lag, I'll probably just run those between episodes. Like if I leave it running and I'm not actively playing or something like that, I might kick on the imaginary time blocks. But I doubt we'll use a bunch of them, but we might throw in a couple into here. Just to make the nether star farming super fast. Of course, if I do imaginary time blocks, I probably don't need but like one farm, honestly. But we'll see. We'll kind of play it by ear. I kind of want 5 floors of nether star essence farms, though. And in my experience, imaginary time block is not a very play-friendly block at all because it's just so many crop updates. But we'll see. We shall see. So. But anyways, that's kind of my plan I'm working on, and then I'll have, like I said, basically it's going to open up. These are going to open up and have like small walkways over to like biodomes and stuff. That's kind of my plan. I think it'll look good once it's done. So probably by next episode this will be kind of sorted and everything. So anyways, let's go ahead and head on back to the overworld. I'm done rambling about this building for the time being. But yeah, I've spent most of the time between episodes just killing dragons and making awakened draconium. But today, we're going to try to get that automated, so. That's our primary goal. Also, on our to-do list, one thing is done on here, and that is more collectors. We're done with that. So I went ahead and marked that off. We have a stack of collectors right now running, and they're actually producing neutronium ingots at a fairly decent rate. So I am happy with it. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do, and some of the stuff, I mean the placement of course is going to be temporary because I don't have the stuff done on Venus yet. I haven't even started the Venus base. All the automation is going to get moved to the Venus base. That way I can kind of make it a little bit more concise and sorted and everything, because I mean right now, I mean even just this room is a mess, and I'm going to have everything kind of segmented once I get over to Venus. But for right now, today, we're going to be setting up everything in, semi-temporary spots. So, to automate Awakened Draconium, the main things that we are going to need is the Dragon Hearts, of course. That is something that I have to manually go out and get. You can automate Awakened Draconium, but in this pack, I think it would be a bit more difficult. I will say that with a Dragon Dimension, it's a little bit easier, but at the same time, in this pack, it's going to be a little bit more difficult because you have no way. The RF tools, you might be able to trap the Ender Dragons. I'm not for sure, but even still, it takes me, 5 seconds a kill. It's really not a big deal. And it's not like I need just hordes of Awakened Draconium. We need a lot of it, for sure, especially doing that farm. But as long as I have the actual automated Awakened Draconium, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. So the main things that we need to automate are, first up, Draconic Cores. Draconium, we got that. Blue Gems, that's one thing I'm going to have to probably automate. Maybe today we might automate Blue Gems. Not necessarily, well, I don't know. Not necessarily, yeah, we'll probably automate it. Either that or set it up so that we just have a ton of it using RF tools. And then Glowing Mangaloy, we need to get, I mean, that's already, taken care of. We have, I think, yeah, almost 2,000 Glowing Mangaloy, and it's set to just keep making that, So that's not really a big concern. We're also going to need to automate block charging to get our charge blocks, and we are also going to need to automate the actual Draconium blocks themselves. Okay, so first up for draconian blocks, let's just get ourselves, let me just order a bunch of grout. Okay. So I'll just grab like 4 stacks. Really, I'm not even going to need nearly that much, but might as well. While we're making it, let's make a bunch of it. Now, granted, I could make a recipe for it. I'm not going to worry about it, I don't think, because it takes me, as you can tell, like 5 seconds to get a bunch of seared stone. Now, granted, we could just throw cobblestone into the smeltery, but it would actually take longer than just doing the grout. Resources aren't really an issue in this pack. 258 seared bricks, and then we'll just go ahead and convert those over into the block form. There's 64 of that. That's going to be plenty. And then I'm also going to need faucets. I'm going to go ahead and grab 4 of those. Let's see. I'm going to want a bit more grout, in fact. Like another, I don't know, stack would be fine. For making things like the tanks and stuff. And I believe I have an ender tank line that actually pumps the... Okay, I actually don't. Let's get just some yellow dye. We're going to pop over to Pluto just really, really quickly and set up a gasoline line. Because, of course, gasoline is very, very quick when it comes to... Oh, yeah, I do have one. It's white, white, yellow for gasoline. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and color this white, white, yellow. So we've got that taken care of. There we go. We'll just grab that. Okay. And then we'll pop back over to the overworld. So our fuel for the smeltery is taken care of. For the actual smeltery, I'm not actually going to worry about building a really large one. A small one is going to be more than enough for our needs. So I think what I'm going to do, and keep in mind this is all just temporary placement, I think we're going to put the smeltery... Let's see. It's actually this smart cable line right here. We'll just put the smeltery right here. Okay. So we'll do... we'll just set it up like this. I'm going to do a 3x3. Because, of course, I quite like the 3x3s. And then let's get a seared tank. There's that. And we'll go ahead and set this up. We'll put it right there. Let's also get a Tinker, the smeltery controller. And we're just going to put this right here. We'll put our ender tank down like right there. We're going to say that you can output. So it's going to keep this fed with gasoline for us. And then I'm also going to want, let's see, let's do, let's just get an interface. And we're going to set this up like right here. And let me go ahead and get a wrench so I can change this over. So that'll feed into the smeltery controller. And that's going to handle our recipe for the draconium blocks. And then let's get... I'll go ahead and grab some of that so I can make a block in a second. Then we're going to need a few drains, smeltery drains. We'll go with 3 of them to match our 4 faucets. And then we're also going to want casting basins. So let's get 2, 3, 4 of those. That actually worked out perfect for the amount of stuff that I made. Made way too many smeltery bricks, but that's okay. And we'll just kind of bring that around. I think if we did it like right there, and then we had our smeltery drain setting like bam, bam, bam. That'd be good. Okay. So we'll go ahead and pull that up, and we'll put our casting basins down like that, that. No, I don't want you to connect. that. Honestly, I could do like one more casting basin. But I'm just going to leave it at 4 for right now, because 4 is going to match up with the amount of draconium that we're going to want to make. So that'll be fine. That's only going to smelt. Okay, let me actually make this a little bit taller here. We'll just bring this up a little bit. I'll probably make it like 3 high. Yeah. I mean, technically 4 high would be ideal, but whenever I move it, I'll do 4 high. But this gasoline is like instant, so it's not really that big of a deal. And actually, I don't need the faucets. I don't know what I was thinking. I want conduits for this. We'll go with pressurized fluid conduits. And really, now that I think about it, the only thing that is a concern is sometimes these will get abnormal amounts. So what I might do is plan for that, and maybe instead of having like 9 draconium come in for a single block, we may do like 12 or something like that. I mean, granted, I could do a single casting basin, or I could have it running like all the time, just pump draconium into this and make draconium blocks. Thing is, I don't want to run out of all of my ingots. I don't know for sure that... Can these be broken down? Okay, really, they can be broken down. So I could just turn everything into a block, and then if it needs draconium ingots, then it could pump it out. That would work too. No, I think I'm just going to overplan. And then, I mean, it's not really a big deal if it makes, say, 2 draconium blocks for a single... when it's supposed to only make 1, you know? It's not really a huge deal. We'll set this to processing. We're going to say, if you send, we'll say 16 draconium. That's way over planning. But the thing is, I mean, if it makes 2 blocks when it's supposed to only make 1, not really a big concern, because then we just have extra blocks for the next operation, right? So I'm not too concerned with it overproducing. We'll go ahead and throw that in there. And let's see. Yeah, there's a couple blocks. See, like this one got a bit of the liquid draconium, and probably between these there's probably enough to make another block, but since it's splitting them up, it messes it up a little bit, but not a huge deal. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set item conduits down. Actually get a little bit of lag right here. That's fine. And we'll just kind of bring these over like that. We'll say that you can insert, you extract always active, extract always active, extract always active, extract always active. Okay. And it's funny because I was looking at draconium, because at first I was planning on doing the compressor, right? Because we've got the materials, we could make the Avaridia compressors, but draconium can't actually be turned into block form in the compressor. Like iron, for example, iron blocks can be. 9 of them ran through the compressor, makes a block. However, draconium cannot do that. So we have to go with smeltery for this. And you can see 9 of them together doesn't make a block, so which is fine. That's fine. Let me actually run just a little bit more, because I've got slightly charged draconium and all that mess at the moment. So honestly, the wireless charger is such an issue in this pack. Such an issue. Oops, there you go. There you go. Give me some of that draconium blocks. I get so much lag with the smelteries. Like, smelteries aren't something that you want a bunch of, so I want to get these moved over to a different dimension, like, pretty quickly. There you go. That makes draconium block. I'm going to go ahead and encode that. But smelteries are one of those, like, actually kind of bad lag items that you don't want a bunch of them running. I know in the past I've had automated ore processing systems using smelteries, and it's bad lag. Like, you want to put it in another dimension like pretty quickly. But now if I order draconium blocks, for example, oops, I don't want these. We'll go ahead and order, say, 20 of these. Okay, it's going to take 320 draconium. So we'll see how many blocks we actually come out with. It's probably going to be way more than what we actually ordered, but not a big deal. So anyways, we'll let that run for a second. The next thing that we're going to need to automate is actually turning those blocks into charged draconium blocks. And I'm going to order just some patterns real quick. We'll get 20 of those. God, my FPS just bodies with the smelteries. Terrible. And now it's all better. So it looks like our draconium is, we got 38. So we got 24 when we ordered, what, 20? So you can see, I mean, it's fairly close to where it needs to be. But let's get ourselves just an interface, and there's that. And then I'm also going to get just some brown smart cable, because we're just going to connect it into the smart cable that's over there. But we're going to put our interface onto this vibrant capacitor bank. Actually, I don't know if I want to do if I just want to pull off one of these and set it up. I think I'm going to do that, actually. We'll pull that off, and we'll set this up. Tell you what, we'll do the vibrant capacitor bank right here. And that way it's getting charged from that conduit that's right there. We'll do our interface right there, and we'll ensure that it pumps down into the vibrant capacitor bank. And there's that. And then all we have to do is let me grab, actually got these. I'm going to charge one of these up real quick. The vibrant capacitor banks seem to be about the fastest charging. Well, maybe not. Tell you what, instead of having the vibrant capacitor bank, we might... What if I switched it over? I haven't really tried the draconic evolution charger in this. Honestly, I thought it was like near instant for those, but maybe not. Let's get draconic evolution. There is the energy infuser right here. Let's go ahead and get that. And we're going to try this out instead. Because this thing does charge like super fast. Okay, it actually crashed on me whenever I ordered... What in the world? No. It actually crashed on me whenever I ordered the draconic cores. But it did make them, so I don't know what that was about. I am noticing that just setting up that Tinker smeltery, it's like major FPS impact. It was so bad. Like, that's one thing I wish this pack didn't do, was force us to use smelteries for blocks. I hate that. That's probably the one thing. And it's not really because it's difficult, it's just due to the fact that smelteries are laggy. Like, they're so laggy. You know, if I was only using one casting basin and I wasn't, like, trying to go for speed, it probably wouldn't be too... Well, it'd probably still be an issue, because anytime I send draconium blocks there and it starts to run, it's just like... FPS just goes down so bad. But anyways, we'll set our energy infuser up right there. I don't want that to connect. Okay. Alright, so the interface is connecting into the energy infuser, and hopefully... Yes, it's still not feeding it enough power. That's actually slower. Yeah, it's still faster. You know what it is? I know what it is. Okay, I'll tell you what. We're going to pull this off. The only reason this one is so fast is because it's all these vibrant capacitor banks. Okay, so I apologize. I apologize. We don't need this. We also don't need this. All we need is the vibrant capacitor bank. Okay, so what we're going to do then is we'll just bring our smart cable over from the brown line. We'll go like that. And then once we set this up for real, over on Venus. I'll probably add a few more vibrant capacitor banks, honestly, and we'll just have like a big vibrant chunk that charges any items that we need charging. It's basically my plan. So we'll put our interface down on the bottom of this, and we'll go ahead, say you're facing that vibrant capacitor bank. So what we'll do is we'll say that you can extract always active with a filter, and you pull out charged draconium blocks, and then it just pumps right back into the interface. And then we'll just bring our smart cable down. We'll grab just a little bit more of this, and then we'll just connect that up. Okay, so now all we have to do is just make a quick pattern, and we're gonna say, let's see, if you take draconium block, then you're gonna get a charged draconium block, and we'll throw that into there, encode, and there we go. Okay, and that's pretty well done. We should be able to request charged draconium now, I should think. Let's see, where's that interface? Right there. And we're going to say give us 5 charged draconium blocks. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very, very easy. Okay, so making charged draconium blocks, that's done. So draconic cores are done, charged blocks are done, dragon hearts are done. Now blue gems, I do need to sort out blue gems. And there's a couple ways that we could do it. We could either do one big bulk amount, which I think is going to be the way that we're going to do it, I believe. Yeah, we're just going to do one big bulk chunk of blue gems. So if we take a look here, let's see, that's stained glass. We haven't actually done one of these dimensions. I love these dimensions, by the way. Neptune blue gem or dimlet. It's 1.2 million RF per tick. That's fine. Why will it not... okay, it must have gotten filled with something, I guess. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a dimension with Neptune blue gem. There's a warning here. I haven't really shown you warnings. Basically, the Neptune blue gem, you have to make something out of it. You can't just say, I want Neptune blue gem ore, and it will just, you know, be there. Basically, that is a dangling modifier. And if you have a dangling modifier, it means it's not actually going to do anything. It's going to give you a warning here, which is fine. So what we're going to do is we want to make something out of this, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to modify a feature. So we could do caves. You don't want a liquid. We're not going to do a liquid. Huge orbs, maze, organ, pyramids, ravines. I think we're going to do pyramids. I actually quite like the pyramids one for something like this. And so we're going to say the pyramids are going to be modified by the Neptune blue gem ore. Okay, so Neptune blue gem ore pyramids is what I want. Now there's still a warning here. It says pyramids are possibly useless as it does not work on all terrains. That's fine. And I could also, if I wanted to, nothing really that I want to use. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to say material Neptune blue gem, and we're going to do features pyramid. We're going to see what happens with just those two. Now in addition, I'm going to want something to decrease the cost, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself like slowness is fine. I don't mind slowness too much. Also mining fatigue, yeah, it sounds good. Honestly, that's probably enough. Slowness 2 and mining fatigue. We'll go ahead and store it. And so we have a dimension here that uses 168,000 RF per tick. So not very expensive, right? We'll go ahead and grab that. Now, in addition, actually, let's go check out the dimension first. And I'll tell you what, let me get this dimension builder right here. And I'm going to go ahead and infuse this. At least a bit. I don't know. Actually, yeah, I know I've got enough dimensional shard ore. Yeah, see, we still got 320 of it. We'll go ahead and infuse that to 100%, just so we have another good dimension builder. Long term, I'm probably just going to infuse a bunch of these. We may even do another dimensional shard dimension, like I did in the Direwolf series. We'll see. But once I get around to getting the asteroid belt done and set up and everything, then I'll probably start setting these up a little bit more permanent. And I want to boost power up before we start setting up a bunch of dimensions. Even though our dimensions really aren't that expensive. I mean, you know, because we're running like 168,000 cost. It's really not that much, considering how much those turbines are making, like producing in power. But I'd like to get a couple more turbines before long, but we're going to have to get essence farming going. But anyways, let's head on over to Jupiter real quick. And we'll just connect this into the cryo-stabilized flux duct. We'll throw that in. That's going to start producing our dimension. I need to name these at some point. Because right now we don't have anything named. That's okay. And 100% dimensions created. And so we'll go ahead and connect this to ID 12. 11's dragons. 12 is... okay. And let's pop through and see about our dimension. Okay, I actually forgot one thing I wanted to put in there. But you can see we've got some Neptune blue gem pyramids. So what I can do is I can just grab these. And there we go. We got a whole bunch of Neptune blue gems. I'm just going to throw these in the system and they'll get pumped out and start producing blue gems for us. But we are going to do one more modification to the dimension. Because there's one other thing I'd like to have on it. So let's pop back over to the overworld real quick. And we're going to... or no, let's pop over to Jupiter real quick. We're going to fix that just really, really fast. And then... then we'll have that sorted. I made one small mistake. Okay, and basically what I meant to do, I didn't mean to grab a feature, I meant to grab a terrain modifier. So I apologize. So let's go with all different kinds of terrains here. I think we're going to go with, we'll do plateaus. Okay. So the terrain is going to be plateaus. I think that's the one that I want. Let me check in here real quick. Oh no. Let's go with amplified, actually. We're going to have an amplified terrain. We'll go ahead and throw that in there. And so we've got Neptune Blue Gem, amplified, slowness 2, and mining fatigue. Go ahead and store that. We've got, ooh, that's 10 million RF per tick. I'll tell you what. It's actually, for some reason, it's cheaper when I only do one effect, I'm noticing. Well, no, that one's 26 million. What if I pulled that out and just didn't have any effect at all? 16. See, it's weird. It's so weird. What if we did just slowness 2? Now, see, that's a little bit more reasonable. 1.6 million RF per tick. Okay, we're going to go with that. Because I'm only going to run this for like a second, and then we'll shut it off, because it's not really something that I need for a long time. And I believe in 1.10 there's actually a terrain dimlet that's pyramids. That's what I was thinking I had grabbed, but it was features and not terrain. So I apologize. Because if I recall, I actually did pyramid terrain in my Direwolf series, right? It was all... I can't remember if that was the dimensional shard or the draconium ore or something like that dimension. But I'm also going to want to get something for mining this up. We are going to go with the, not the dimension builder, the builder block from RF Tools. And let me get a few brick blocks. And then I just need a machine frame. Alright, so there's our builder. And then I'm going to want a quarry. Let's go with a, I don't really need fortune. I just need a clearing quarry. So we're going to need a standard quarry, which takes a shape card. There's our shape card. Our standard quarry, we just need a diamond pick, diamond shovel. There we go. And then our clearing quarry. There we go. Okay. And then I'm also going to want just an ender chest. And let's get a quantum entangleporter. Hopefully this thing works. Fingers crossed. Because I've been having so many issues with those lately. And it's, for some reason, it's only the one on Jupiter. It seems to be like the only one that I have an issue with. We'll get a lever. And granted, we could just use the miner block. That wouldn't really be an issue. Do I have a quantum entangleporter on me? Oh, I do. Never mind. I have the one that's connected for the miner. Okay, so let's pop on over to Jupiter. And we'll get this dimension set up. And after this, we're honestly going to have so much blue gem ore that we will never again. We've almost got 2,000 right now. It's still running through all that we just manually mined in like all of 2 seconds. So throw that in there, get that dimension started. There we go. 100%. And we'll just connect that. And we'll head on over. And here we go. We now have amplified terrain that's all Neptune blue gems. Woot. And some kind of... Is that a fluid? What kind of fluid is that? Water. This is actually kind of a pretty dimension. All blue. Nothing but blue. But yeah. It's all... And I mean, all the way down to bedrock, it's nothing but Neptune blue gems. So, and honestly, the cost isn't all that high either. So then what we're going to do is we're just going to set up our builder. I think this is actually our first time messing with a builder in this pack. If I recall correctly. We're going to go ahead and set this to keep running with redstone signal. And then let's go ahead and set this up. We're going to shift right click this with our quarry card. And we're going to say mine everything. It's so pretty I don't want to tear it up, you know. Oh, and we have nether fortresses. That's like the only thing that's not Neptune blue gems, is we have nether fortresses. Huh. Well, those will get mined, and we'll get the treasure, I guess, out of those or whatever. We're going to say mine everything from... Honestly, I'm not even going to worry about going down to bedrock right now. We're going to say that point right there, because I'm just going to tear apart this whole mountain, I think. And then we'll say mine everything from there over to... this is a convenient little floating blue gem. All the way over to here. And here we go. Let the fun begin. Honestly, like, a couple seconds of running this, and we're never going to need Neptune blue gems, like, ever again. We'll go ahead and throw this in there. Let's go ahead and do a preview. So it's going to mine all of that stuff. Okay, sounds good. We'll go ahead and turn off the preview. We'll put our ender chest down on top of this. Then let me get the quantum entangleporter. I'm going to set this up like right here. Granted, quantum entangleporters, tesseracts, all that stuff, they can move items. I just don't ever bother with it, I guess. Can I connect this to extra power? We're going to find out. Well, it gave it power, but I think that might be... Or it has power, but I think that might be what I charged with the wireless charger. We'll go ahead and turn that on. And that's going to start mining. And let's see if we can find out where it's mining right now. Yeah. If you look in here, I mean, look at all the Neptune blue gems we're getting. Like a half, probably around a stack a second, I'd say. I'm trying to figure out where it's actually mining right now, and I'm not for sure. Oh, right there. It's on like a chunk border. I hate when that happens. So it's probably about to start. I thought it would mine that next little border there, but maybe not. Oh, you know what I did? I know what I did. It's my fault. One small adjustment we need to make to this. And it's actually getting power from the quantum entangleporter, so that's good. We're going to take the quarry card out. We're going to shift right click. We're going to change this to solid box. I always forget that. Always forget that. And then we'll just go ahead and install it again. Preview, can't really tell any different, but now it's a solid box. We'll go ahead and turn that back on. And let's see what we've got now. Yeah, it's still mining a ton of stuff. There we go. We can see it running right here. So good. And actually, I can go and fuse the quarry. I mean, the builder block. And I probably need to do that because it'll actually cause it to run faster at less cost. Okay, so let's actually go do that real quick. I mean, realistically, I don't need Neptune Blue Gem. I only have 14,000 right now, so. But let's go ahead and pull this out real quick. Grab that. Let me have this. And we're going to go to the overworld real quick. We're going to infuse. You know what? I don't have enough right now to infuse it. Yeah, see, I've only got like a stack, and I think I got like 20 in there. Okay, so I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to pop over to, let me actually grab that and that. And let's pop over to Jupiter. And we're going to go to the Ender Dragon dimension just really, really quick. And I'm actually going to mine Dimensional Shard ore from the Ender Dragon dimension, because it'll spawn there as well. So what was it? ID 11? Welcome to the Dragon Rail. I love it. Absolutely love it. Let me fly away from these dragons, though, because we definitely don't want to run the miner, like, right there next to them. Grab the digital miner. Oh, my gosh. You guys just don't... You don't stop. Like, if you get far enough away from spawn, they'll leave you alone, usually, but... I don't know, I got, like, a horde of dragons here. I'm like the Khaleesi or something. Like, come on, dragons. Come with me. I almost felt like at 1.7 they're just like spawn dragons on you or something, because they're not, I mean, they're not like, they're just here with me regardless. Well, maybe they won't destroy this block, I don't know. We'll find out. We'll go ahead and tell this to run. Actually, I'll tell you what, we got a half stack of Dimensional Shard ore. That should be enough, because I really only need a few stacks of this. So we'll go ahead and head on back to the overworld. And I just want to get this fully infused so I can show you like how fast this thing is. It's crazy. When it's fully infused like that, it's just insane. Absolutely insane. We're going to have so much Dimensional Shard. Or, I mean, honestly, or not Dimensional Shard, Blue Gems, we've got 13,000 right now in ore form, and then we've got over 5,000 Blue Gems. And, of course, it's doubling those in the Crusher right now, so. Alright, so, Machine Infuser, we're going to go ahead and throw in the Builder Block. Infusing bonus, reduced power consumption, and increased building speed. And in the case of quarrying, increased quarrying speed. Alright, and while that's running, let's go ahead and get this laid out in mind real quick. Yeah, so there's like almost 3 stacks. That should be plenty to get this thing up to 100%. And I do think we're going to end up making a Dimensional Shard dimension. It's probably one of those things, I mean, dimensions like this, you run them, like you set them up and you'll run a builder through them, and like, especially an infused builder, like, you run it for 5 minutes and you literally have more of anything than you're ever going to use, you know. I mean, that's like in my Direwolf series, we made the Dimensional Shard builder, ran it for like, I don't even know, 30 minutes or something like that, and had 100,000 Dimensional Shards. You know, and that was running, I think we were running a Fortune 3 quarry at that time for Dimensional Shards, but it's honestly more than you will ever need. Of course, with singularities and stuff like that in this pack, it's a little bit different. You know, if we were to run something that actually needs a singularity. But for example, blue gems, I mean, we already have more than I think we'd ever use in this pack. But I just want to make sure, you know, that we've got more than we could ever use. Just to be on the safe side. And this thing, I mean, it's not even scratching the energy core right now. Not even touching it. Let's head back, dial back to ID 13. Ah, there we go. I think I only ended up killing like 6 dragons or something like that. But we'll put the builder block down right here. We're going to put our quarry card back in. Let's check the preview. Looks good. And then we'll just set this back up. Ender chest. Quantum entangleporter, extra power, set it, throw down our lever. There we go. So we should be getting, my bad, there we go. And if we take a look here, look at all the Neptune blue gems. Oh, that's too fast. That's too fast. Stop for just a moment. Look how bad it backs up. Okay, I tell you what. We're going to... This is going to back up everything. It needs its own, like, dedicated ender chest line or something. But if I activate that, I'll show you how fast this thing's running. I mean, look at that. It's just ripping that stuff up. Bow. Just Neptune blue gems like it's going out of style. It's probably... Yeah, see, it's backing up. I mean, it can't even run at full speed right now. It's that fast. Just ridiculous. If we take a look here, we have 25,000 Neptune blue gem ore. I'm going to have to make like a dedicated insert line just for this. Like 26,000, 27,000, 28,000. Like, it's so fast. 29,000. 30,000, like, and I mean, it's not even able to run at full speed. It just can't do it. It's crazy. Let's see, blue gems. We're nearing 7,000 right now. I mean, look, such ridiculousness right here. So ridiculous. I mean, I guess technically I could also do this, which would be very powerful. And then I end up with this. I mean, technically you don't even need a builder since you have Vein Miner and Carrots, but let's see. I don't really know how much that was, but it was a bunch anyways. Like a lot of stacks right there. So... I mean, you can either just use Vein Miner with Carrots or the Builder Block. Builder Block's a little bit more automatic, but we're going to have to set it to its own, like, Ender Chest frequency, because, I mean, this thing is just too fast. It's just way too fast. Because, I mean, this thing pulls in items, like, super quickly. Like, stacks constantly, but still not enough to keep up with that. We got 41,000 right now. Well, needless to say, our blue gem issue is taken care of now. Like, that's a bit of an understatement. I'm going to leave that builder there. I'm not going to run it right now. I may actually do like a dedicated ender chest line for that. I'm actually going to shut this off for right now. We'll say on to activate. And that's running out of power. So, because I really don't need it running all the time. It's not something that I'm going to utilize at the moment. Alright, but needless to say, we now have everything automated that we need to automate awakened draconium. Like, we are set on that stuff. Granted, the stuff will get moved a little bit later on, but I'm actually going to try to start working on the Venus base between this episode and next. We'll see how that goes, but I'm going to try to get started on that. Sarris, I can put on the back burner. I've got that farming. I need a lot of awakened draconium to actually build it out, so I can kind of put that on the back burner for right now. I mean, honestly, in the process of recording this episode, yeah, see, we've gotten nearing 4,000 nether star essence. It's so fast. It's just ridiculously fast. And if I try to craft this, it actually lags. Like, you'll notice, I mean, it's not actually doing anything right now. It's trying to basically catch up and make all these nether stars. So it's definitely something I'm going to have to, like, automate the process of. It's very, very simple. There we go. Lots of nether stars. So we're up to 1,400 nether stars at the moment. But anyways, I know it's about wrapping up point. I mean, at least we've got everything automated for the awakened draconium. I was wanting to get to that today, but then I forgot we had to do blue gems. I've already got the setup figured up, like how I want to set it up and everything. Which I know in the comments in the past, everybody's brought up the creeper trophy. I know that that works. I just haven't really, I've just been using TNT. I don't know why. I just have weird habits like that. However, with our automated setup, we are actually going to be using the creeper trophy. And I'll go ahead and show you something just really, really quickly, which we're going to, you know, like I said, next episode, we're going to actually get this automated. I wanted to get to it today, but didn't quite work out that way. So, but for example, the creeper trophy, if you have this set up, say like right here, and you right click it, it does an explosion, which will actually activate the dragon heart. And it doesn't work with redstone, but we can use an autonomous activator to activate the creeper trophy. But for example, if you were to throw down, say, cobblestone right here, and you right-click the creeper trophy, it actually destroys items. The only exception, of course, being the dragon heart. It's not going to destroy the dragon heart. However, what we can do is we can just do like a small little obsidian wall here. And now if we were to throw down some cobblestone and we right-click this, it doesn't actually blow up the cobblestone. So basically, just to give you guys kind of a heads up, because I meant to, you know, I wanted to get this automated today and didn't quite work out, but basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using the creeper trophy with an autonomous activator set up on a timer to activate, or probably not a timer, probably a block detector. Right now I've got it in my test world, I've got it set up to a timer, but we might do a couple adjustments to it. I might do a couple adjustments between this episode and next, but basically what we'll do is we'll have the dragon heart get dropped down like right here next to the creeper trophy, and then the cores will get dropped down on this side of the wall. Then when the heart gets activated, it'll pull in those. Okay. Honestly, what I'll probably do is have, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have the heart get dropped like right here, and then have just a redstone line, it'll drop on a pressure plate, like a wooden pressure plate, and then just a redstone conduit right here, and then the autonomous activator here. So if the heart is sitting on top of this, it'll activate the autonomous activator. It'll right-click it, and then the cores will get pulled in. It's a really, really simple design. And then for the charged draconium, we're just going to use formation annihilation planes. Very, very simple stuff. So, not too complicated. But anyways, we'll get that set up next episode. It'll probably only take about, I'm thinking like 20 minutes to get that set up, if that, maybe 15. It's a very, very simple design. Awakened Draconium is very, very simple to automate. And the Creeper Trophy just makes it even more so. Because normally you would drop TNT into water to cause the explosion, but with the Creeper Trophy, it's basically water explosions as is, you know. So, yeah. That's what we're going to do next episode, and then after that we are probably, I'm debating between finally getting around to the zombie heads or switching gears and maybe working on the Philosopher's Stone. Because I would like to get that set up and start working. It's really not that expensive. The only thing that's going to take any kind of effort is the thorium rod. And then the spirit binders and the soul crystal. The spirit binders, I've just got to grind Gaia Guardian. I might actually try to do that between this episode and next. The soul crystal will take a little bit more effort. involving the Erebus. Oh, that's right. We need all that. Never mind. We need Demon Steel. Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, next episode we are going to not be doing the Philosopher's Stone. We'll probably do the Awakened Draconium automation, and then we're probably going to set up essence farming. I'm going to have to do essence farming. There's no way around it. So that's the plan. And then we may do zombie heads as well, because neither of those first two things should take that long, but you know how it goes. So we'll see. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button. And go ahead and subscribe if you're not already, to stay up to date with when new videos come out. I know it was kind of like preparatory work for the next project, or our current project, but you know, we'll get that knocked out next episode. So, but anyways, I hope to see you guys next time. Until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I will see you guys then.